okay.
It's a kind gesture to help, and you definitely were not helping me.
You weren't helping me with my bag. I'm just saying.
I could carry this with my pinky. And I think that common knowledge is that you help women with their bags.
I've been told it's rude to assume that women can't do things, so.
I'm not gonna lie, disclaimer. Partly I was busy catching up with my other reviews. The other reason I haven't done Married at First Sight review as yet is because I saw the trailer at the end of the previous episode, and so it sort of put me off because one of my favorite couples, I don't think they're going to survive, but anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 4. Okay, so we have the couples. Obviously, it's the night of the wedding, and everybody's still in a very good mood, and they're ecstatic. And Mavs has to show you the grooms removing the wedding gown or helping the bride with her gown, and it's like, we've seen this so many times. Can we skip over this? There's nothing really to it. Anyway, we first start off with Becca and Austin. Becca and Austin, I don't know whether they're getting on very well or whether Becca is very good at acting since she knows she's got this medical history that she's coming with, because she seems too ecstatic for someone who deals with wedding all the time, or maybe this is something that she's always wanted, so she's excited that it's finally here. They seem to really get along with Austin. She said she hasn't told him about her medical problems, and she will tell him the next day. He helps her get dressed, and it's like, I thought I heard you saying you needed to be careful. Is he not seeing, or has he not, heard you wince once in pain or whatever, since you're saying you've only had your procedure a couple of weeks or days ago? I don't know. Anyway, they seem very comfortable. They settle for bed. That's fine. Orion and Lauren, my heart is broken for them because of the promo. Anyway, so they seem to be in a very good place. They seem to be very understanding, and I like the fact that they want to know about each other's cultures. So they do help each other get undressed, and Orion asks for help with his hair, which I thought was cute because Lauren was able to do that without even asking or flinching. And then they decided to be bonnet buddies because they've both got, one has got long hair, one has got, hair that needs to be in a bonnet before she goes to sleep. So that was cute. I really like that. They seem to be getting along. They seem to be really understanding and respectful of each other's sort of backgrounds, which is amazing. Next up is Claire and Cameron. Okay, am I the first one who's noticed this? Cameron is the first groom on Married at First Sight who I've seen who's wanted to take a shower on their wedding night before they go to sleep, because everybody else just changes and off they go. And so to hear Cameron say he wants to take a shower and actually see that he's come out of the shower, this is something new. This is something that I haven't seen before. We all remember Olajuwon and his dirty boxes on his wedding night, but anyway, I digress. So they're very awkward with Claire. I think they haven't really talked a lot because they're asked, are you going to be intimate? And they're both saying, oh, well, Cameron is saying she's not exuding, any sexual chemistry at the moment. Claire saying, well, we haven't discussed that, so I don't know whether he's really into that. And it's like, just leave them alone, please. What about the backlash from, Love is Blind when Vanessa asked about pregnancy? Can we stop? Anyway, so Cameron then dives on top of the bed with his dressing gown on. I don't know whether he was doing that for the cameras or whether that's how he was going to sleep. It's awkward. I don't know whether he's trying to respect her and not sort of inconvenience her by going underneath the bedding with her when they haven't discussed it and then making her uncomfortable, or whether he's just not feeling her and that's why he's decided to sleep on top of the duvet. I'm still trying to understand that bit. Last is Emily and Brennan. Emily and Brennan are really attracted to one another. Emily and Brennan, I am not sure. Brennan wants something long term. Emily looks like she's just wanting to hit it. She really likes this guy and she really wants to do the deed, and so she actually is saying, I can't wait for production to leave. I want them to leave. And it's like, maybe don't say that. Well, you have mics on and they can hear you and they can play it for forever. I've always said this about Married at First Sight, and I don't know why people don't take this into consideration and they still continue to repeat the same thing again and again and again. Anyway, so they They seem happy, they get ready for bed, they seem ecstatic, they seem relaxed. And so I don't know whether that's going to be enough to carry their relationship. I wish they were not having sex first, because she is someone who's got a reputation of not being in relationships. I wish they'd built a stronger foundation first before they brought sex into play, because if it's good or bad, that can determine the direction of their marriage. In the morning, Cameron and Claire are so awkward. It's unbelievable. It's like they've been forced together. They're reminding me of I'm a very good person, so I hope they don't end up that way. Cameron and Claire look like they're going to be the awkward couple of the season. They remind me of Jessica and Austin. I hope they stay married like Jessica and Austin, because some of their conversation is the strangest thing. They had this conversation about carrots and the fact that, they make you see at night. And I don't know how Claire hasn't heard that myth. Anyway, so he tried to explain where it came from and how his grandma was involved in that, and she still didn't get it. And it's like, when you look at their conversations and then you look at Orion and Lauren, you see the difference. It's two people. Orion and Lauren are two people who want to know about each other and are willing to learn about each other and understand, and also willing to share. Whereas Claire just always seems blank, like you don't know whether she's not interested or whether she just doesn't want to know. That's where she is, and that's the impression that I get. Obviously, Cameron said, he is a very loving person, but he'll never say I love you, because that's how he grew up. Whereas Claire came from a background where they're always saying I love you, I love you. So I feel like I would rather someone like Cameron tell me that they never say I love you, just because when they tell me they love me, they mean it. Whereas if someone is just used to I love you, you never know when it's a genuine I love you or whether they're just doing it because it's something they're used to. So I don't know, we'll see. And then you have Emily and Brennan. Emily and Brennan had sex because of the way she was behaving the night before. For her to suddenly say, oh no, we didn't, we want to get to know each other on a deeper level, and then for them to be so awkward with each other eating breakfast in bed, something happened. Either there was no liftoff or there was liftoff, and they've decided to keep it quiet until they feel ready to tell everyone. I actually like how Becca and Austin handled their situation, because she does, while they're having breakfast, obviously tell her about her endometriosis and about her autoimmune disease, and he's actually very receptive. He's not, oh, what is it? What does it do? Or no, he just sits there and allows her to explain herself, and at the end, he gives her a hug and a kiss, which is all anyone wants when you're feeling very uncomfortable. And he actually asks her, did you feel uncomfortable? And she said, yeah, because I wasn't sure how the person I was marrying would feel about that. And so it's great to see, and it's nice to see how understanding he is. And hopefully over time, he'll learn about the condition and he'll get a greater understanding of what it is. I like them. I think they're cute together. I always root for love, as you know, so I'm happy for them. I loved the conversation between Lauren and Orion, because obviously they were talking about who they're going to meet. They were setting expectations and sort of boundaries in regards to their relationship and sort of how they communicate, to help each other understand what might not seem normal to the other person, in the sense that Lauren said at times she just doesn't have the bandwidth to sort of have certain conversations, and she might ask for a timeout. And, Orion was accepting of that, and he just said, just let me know when you're feeling it's one of those moments. That way I know not to sort of pressure you, which I felt was amazing. I was a bit nervous because Emily and Brennan are the first one to meet with each other's families. And so I was nervous because families tend to embarrass their loved ones on Married at First Sight for some reason. I don't know why. So it was nice that the families were asking questions, but it seemed more like a job interview, in my opinion. It came across like, okay, this. It wasn't a free-flowing conversation, and I don't know, because one of the things that stood out was the fact that Emily, apparently she likes to work, she really loves her job, so she spends long hours at work. And Brennan was right to sort of say that, he would be okay with that as long as she communicated with him and told him that this is where I am, or this is what I'm going to be doing. For Brennan's mum, I think she was worried about the fact that maybe the career will take... That's the impression that I got, that she's worried that the career is going to take over and Emily might not want a family of her own, or she might not be able to provide for her family emotionally or physically because she's stuck at this job, which makes sense. It does make sense. Brennan's brother was worried about the fact that she hasn't been in a relationship. Everybody's worried. Emily's friends, Emily's family, Brennan's friends, Brennan's family. So this is not a new worry, and I hopefully they'll be able to get over it. We'll see. Next up, it's Becca and Austin. Well, for Becca's family were really understanding, and they were very compassionate, and they were willing to give information to Austin and sort of reassure him when it comes to her medical conditions. And so that was cute to see. And the fact that he said, okay, because they told him that she will minimize it, but it's a bit more intense than she makes it out to be. And he was understanding with that. And he said, I am going to look it up so that I have a clear understanding. I hope you all will be able to sort of fill me in on what I need to know. And for them to say, we are your support system. If you need anything, just contact us, was amazing to see. But I was anxious for, Becca, because the family was understanding, but the fact that his mum, she is a mum, but she's going to love her son. But for her to say, I'm trusting you with my son's heart, to take very good care of it and make sure, more or less, that you don't break his heart. And it's like, oh, that might be a bit too intense. Anyway, she seems accepting. She seems very open-minded. So she didn't take it seriously. Somebody else would have stopped and gone, oh, that's a bit too much. I found the conversation with Claire's family and Cameron's family very strange. With Cameron, it looks like he's hired actors to pretend to be his family, because at one time they said, oh, that's all we know. And it's like, what? Why? I said this before and I'm going to say it. Cameron must be from a rich family, the way he behaves, the way he carries himself. And he must have been looking for a bride. And because he was struggling, he's decided to come to Married at First Sight. And this is how he's ended up meeting Claire. That's my story for now. I know some people might not agree because of the way he behaves, the way he carries himself, the way he speaks. Yes, I know he's got a New Zealand accent, but still something is a bit, Remind me later when it turns out that my story is real. Anyway, so for Claire's family, the way they were speaking about her as well was a bit, they're interrogating him too much. The fact that they were like, oh, you need to always be telling her you love her. Yes, that's what you do, but that's not what he does. He's telling you this is not what we do as a family. You both have to meet each other at halfway. You have to understand that he's not always going to say I love you, but if he brings her flowers, that's him saying I love you. If he gives her a kiss, that's him saying I love you, and that's it. Lauren and Orion, their families, the way Lauren's family kept going, oh, she's a strong black woman, I understand, but I think they could have said other things as well about her. That's the impression that's my opinion on that, because I think when we say I am a strong black woman, at times people don't fully understand unless you tell them what you mean by that. And so I wish they'd explained more. She's a strong black woman. She is hardworking. She is caring. She's empathetic. She is always going to go all out for those that she loves. Highlight what makes her a strong black woman. That's my opinion. I like the fact that Orion's family was sort of informative in the information that they gave Lauren, which she was happy with. And she said, that will help us and help me understand my husband better because, you've given me a heads up. So that was amazing. I think looking at the couples, it's nice to see who gels and who's sort of a bit awkward and who has potential to actually grow. Becca and Austin are, they're in their own little world. They enjoy themselves. They understand each other's sense of humor, which is amazing. Brennan and Emily, they just want to bang each other all the time. That's the impression that I get. Claire and Cameron are the awkward couple this season. they always, something is always not right with the two of them together. And then you have Orion and Lauren, and everybody seems to think that they look like a couple that's been together for years. They get along very well. They understand each other. That's because they've done a lot of communication, and I really hope the clip we saw doesn't signify the end. I would be heartbroken. Anyway, all the couples meet up. Someone tell me, does Kinetic have a contract with Mexico just to get free holidays or what? Because Love is Blind goes to Mexico. Married at First Sight goes to Mexico. Can they not go anywhere else outside of Mexico? Please make it make sense. is that since COVID, is that why they're only always just taking them to Mexico? Is it cheaper? Did they get a deal? Why? I digress. Somebody stop me. Anyway, next, while the couples are waiting for their transport, Michael arrives. So he definitely had a bride then, because it seemed everybody's actually asking, where's your bride? I'm going to cry. So it seems Michael did actually have a bride, or the girls knew of the bride to be. So it wasn't a play act, because they didn't mention her by name, but they called her she and her. I think the producers told them don't use her name. And to see how upset they got for him when they realized this is an amazing guy. And I personally feel Michael would have made someone an amazing husband, in the sense that he has the potential to sort of grow. He's willing to grow. He's willing to learn. And that's all you need when you enter Marriage at First Sight. As long as your partner is there for the right reason, they're willing to learn, they're willing to take constructive feedback, they're willing to use that feedback to become the best version of themselves for you. That's all you can ask for. And that's how most of the marriages on Marriage at First Sight have lasted. I always bring up Shanice and Jeffy. They are a shining example of two people. One of them wasn't attracted to the other one, but they went into the trenches, did the work, and when you see them now 6 years later, they are amazing. Anyway, I digress. So even the girls recognize that Michael is a good catch, and he will make someone an amazing husband. And so I don't know what will happen, because I remember I saw a clip of the experts sort of asking him, do you still want to get married? So I don't know whether they have somebody else for him, and whether that person will be the right person for him. Because again, I'll bring up Zach and Bliss. Zach and Bliss are amazing. From Love is Blind, Zach proposed to someone thinking that was the right person for him, realized into day 2 into their holiday that this is not it, went back home, re-proposed to somebody else, and they're happily married. They've actually bought their first home and are moving out. So I hope this is what happens for Michael, that whoever they initially matched him with was not the person for him, and his person is probably the second person that they have to offer him. So that's amazing. And it was sad to see him sort of watch them go. I don't know, I like Michael. So the couples go to Cancun, and on their way to Cancun, well, I don't think it was offensive, or the comment that Cameron made, maybe because I'm a little, I don't know. Anyway, they have this conversation about, making sure, Cameron saying we need to make sure we don't leave the reservation now, and, we stay at the something to the effect that we don't leave the reservation. And then he realizes that, that might be offensive, because there's someone, who comes from a reservation community, and he quickly apologized for that. So I give him credit for apologizing and recognizing that what he said was a bit off. Obviously, I don't know whether this was a one-off or whether this is something that he does a lot. I don't want to call him anything that I do not have any evidence of. And then when they get to the hotel, it's awkward with Claire. They have this conversation which I don't understand, because I think Claire is sort of was smitten with Cameron when she saw him, but the fact that he said he doesn't always say I love you, and the fact that he always seems withdrawn, is what is putting her off. And this is why she says she doesn't want any physical touch. And so she's confusing him. One minute she's saying I don't want physical touch, the next minute she says we need to get to where we hold hands. And then she's complaining about him not helping her with her bags, him walking too fast because he's tall, him. And it's just like, the two of you need to sit down, because Cameron is just there. He's just staring at her and we're just watching her talk. And I don't know whether he understood what she was saying, or whether he was just trying to be quiet and not have an argument on camera. It didn't make sense to me. I don't know. They have a lot of work to do. Their communication is not amazing, and they will have to do a lot of work in order for them to reach the same page. But anyway, I digress. It was a great episode. I was nervous to watch because I was thinking the accident, because it seems somebody was involved in an accident on this honeymoon. So I thought it would air on this episode, and I was worried about that. But maybe next week. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 3. Bye guys.